Hello, my dear friends. Why do we betray our dreams and how can we change that? Let's talk about this today. This is a complex, delicate topic because dreams are probably at the very core of how tenderly our hearts tremble. And why do some, or rather most, of our dreams remain unfulfilled? To me, dreams seem like a kind of marker or a guiding light. I think that's what it's called in the field of gas and oil extraction, a byproduct that goes along with our development. Every dream corresponds to our age and our stage of development. When we were children, we dreamed of becoming astronauts, for example, or we dreamed of, having some other profession, being a great football player, and having people admire us. Then, as we grew older, we dreamed of having close friends and close relationships with girls and boys. When we got a bit older, we dreamed perhaps of fame, of a good education. We dreamed of a strong family, of warm, close relationships in which we could live. Then we dreamed of having children. Then we dreamed of international or public recognition. Then we dreamed of being useful to others and passing that on to them. Then we dreamed of living comfortably in old age, somewhere by the ocean, doing what we love, and so on. If you notice, all these dreams correspond to their respective ages, and in this regard, I wouldn't do two opposite things. First, I wouldn't devalue dreams or diminish their importance, and second, I wouldn't overestimate them either. And this is very important, because there are two extremes here. The first extreme is actually where the key question we started with comes from. We betray our dreams. So much pathos can be invested in this question only because we overestimate the importance of dreams, as if a dream is something extremely important. And so we betray them for the sake of something else. Well, I don't know. All my life, I wanted to bet this is something I often encounter in our professional my life. Since childhood, I wanted to be a psychologist. My parents said, "What kind of profession is a psychologist? Where's the lawyer? Psychology isn't a lucrative field, nobody needs it." If only I had known that psychologists are now among the highest paid professionals. All they would say, a psychologist. What is that? How can you do that for a living? It's just air. Or, for example, you might have wanted to be a musician. Parents would say, a musician? Only 1 in 1,000 becomes a musician. Or maybe you wanted to be a football player. Well, a football player like Ronaldo, for example. You see, these football players, they're born that way, and only 1 in a million makes it, while all the others just work and work and work. None of them get anywhere, they don't make any money. You'd be better off becoming an economist or an IT specialist. Those guys definitely make money, and you spend your whole life thinking that you betrayed your dream. At the same time, it's possible, most likely, in fact, that you would never have become a brilliant football player anyway. Maybe you're not much of a psychologist either. Well, you could have been, but it doesn't matter. What matters is that you got involved, you joined this game, you reevaluated your dreams. And often this happens only in hindsight, because today we're unhappy. And it seems to us that it's because we betrayed some old dream of ours. But in reality, a dream is just a kind of concept. We picked up our dreams from somewhere too. I mean, what makes you think you really wanted to be a great football player? You probably saw great football players, along with the whole aura of fame surrounding them, honor, recognition, admiration, crowds of people wanting their autographs and so on. And did you also see what it's like to be a cosmonaut? First of all, well, some people were inspired by the starry sky. It's so beautiful, so fascinating. Some were drawn to a challenging but honorable job. Some are drawn by the admiration of others, some by fame and recognition. Where did you get this from? In reality, if you've noticed, your dreams match your level of development, your age. So you pick up from other people in newspapers, on television, in other media, from bloggers only, what matches your own level of development. And for some reason, you decided that this is who you are, but that's not you. Sorry that on this channel, I'm debunking all your wonderful ideas about who you are and telling you that even your dreams, it turns out, aren't really you either. And yet, dreams are something very deep. But I'm also not saying that dreams are just nonsense. Honestly, I'm not saying that, am I? Not because I want to spare you or anything, but because dreams really are an important thing, and an important thing in their own right. In any dream, there is a breath of truth. In any dream, there is a breath of presence. Otherwise, the dream wouldn't appear at all. And the more vivid and captivating a dream is for your heart, because, well, a dream like that can only aim for a kind of cerebral orgasm, if I can put it that way, or it might touch your heart. If a dream touches your heart, it means there is some truth about you in it. And that truth is conveyed by presence. What your dream breathes with that is the truth about you. Because if you ignore your dreams and say, well, they're just dreams and all dreams are nonsense, then you're deceiving yourself too. In my practice, I actually have quite a few people from the business world. Those who come to me for psychotherapy, and also quite a few who join our programs, are from the business sector. They all say the same thing when it comes to plans. They say, the plan is nothing. Planning is everything. For a long time, I tried to understand what they meant, because honestly, I'm not very good with either plans or planning. I manage things at the academy in a very, how should I put it, hands-on, intuitive way. I'm not a very good manager. I don't think anyone should use me as an example. That's that. Although from time to time, the way things develop for us does inspire envy and admiration in others. But honestly, I've always been dissatisfied with how things are going always. Now, I've become calm, but for most of my time as the owner and director of the academy, I was dissatisfied with what was happening there. But that's not the point. So at some point, I realized that, in fact, what happens in planning is the very force that drives the development of the company and propels the entrepreneur as a spirit. This is very important. When it comes to plans, we try to squeeze this raw energy, this flight, into the plan. That's why, as a rule, plans are nothing. That's what people say. And when it comes to dreams, I would say the same thing. Dream, it's wonderful, but don't cling to the dream, because you're no longer there. You exist in the act of dreaming. And it is in that place where you're dreaming that presence breathes. And that is what matters. The breath of presence exists in the act of dreaming, but not in the dream itself. A dream is, like a photograph of dreaming, or a freeze frame from a video. It might give you an idea of what was happening at that moment in Vicontacte or in that film, for example, but it won't let you see the whole film. It won't let you see the possibility of an entire life within that film. Although perhaps talented photographers are hopelessly desperate, yet at the same time, with varying degrees of success, they strive for this to capture life in photographs. Sometimes truly brilliant photographers manage to achieve this, without a doubt. But nevertheless, the breath that exists in life can only be seen in the very process of living. A photograph can hint at it, can point toward that breath. That in itself is wonderful, like any work of art, but life itself exists only in the process. And so in dreaming, dream as much as you like, there is a lot of benefit in it. A person who dreams is breathing. A person who dreams is present. It's almost impossible, if you truly touch your heart, to dream and not be present. Of course, you might have dreams that are, roughly borrowed from other people. Like, for example, your neighbor bought a black BMW X6. You also want a black BMW X6. Such primitive dreams, of course, they also contain a sense of presence, but they are so far removed from you that reaching them will be impossible. Well, at the very least, it will be very difficult. So pay attention to how you live in your dreams, how you exist in that process when you are dreaming about something. Notice how you breathe. Notice how you are aware of your own existence. Notice what new things appear there, whether your dream changes over time or not. It's important for it to change. This is also a point against the idea of betraying your dream. You don't have to be loyal to your dream. If, when you were 5, you wanted to be an astronaut, and everyone around you was obsessed with becoming an astronaut or a great football player, but you didn't actually have anything for it, not even the real desire that would make you train for 4, 5, 6, 7 hours every day, then you would just be suffering. You would be miserable. Do you understand? You would be beating yourself up over it. Do you really need that? I don't think so. I think you absolutely don't need that. That's why your task is to live in your dream. Your task is to live in dreaming. Your task is to let presence into your life while you dream. That means becoming attentive to yourself. Dream. This in itself brings pleasure, but don't cling to the dream. Don't try to hold on to it. Let it move as it moves in your life. And if in that moment you find inspiration, follow that inspiration. It will lead you to who you truly are. In dreaming, you will discover the breath of presence. It will manifest as inspiration, and follow that process. Follow a certain energetic intention that will begin to move you. If this intention starts to move you, there you will find yourself, and there you will find yourself as close as possible to what is your true nature, your dream. It is precisely these dreams that will be healing for you. It is precisely these dreams that will lead you to change and make you a happy person. I hope that in this video I managed to draw your attention to this very, very important process. So let's not dismiss dreams as meaningless or empty daydreams without any pathos. Your heart lives in your dreams, and that is truly important. Trust it, and you will become truly successful, happy, and healthy. That is what I wish for you. This was Igor Pogodin. See you in new videos. Goodbye. Thank you very much.